Not too much activity on the revenue side in the month of November. And I really don't anticipate a whole lot of activity on the revenue side for the remaining of the fiscal year, with probably all of the tax levy money that we're going to get. It's probably going to get.
We did receive an unexpected distribution, a fourth distribution for $22,424.58. So,
oh, great.
But in December,
That'll be reflected in December's report.
Yes.
okay.
Well, that'll be good. That'll almost put us up to the $1.7 million mark. So as far as tax levy distribution, that's good news. I trust that everybody saw Jennifer's email from like November, I think it was the 19th. She sent us all an email that kind of explained the whole workers' comp, unemployment insurance misalignment that was going on there. That's all been taken care of. Thanks everybody for looking into that and finding the error of our ways and making it all right. So that's all been changed. And that's reflected here in this November report. The fund balances all look to be in good shape and in order. Jennifer or Reno, anything else to mention about the report for November 2020?
Just that you might notice some credits there, and that was from Reno and Susie going through and really fine-tooth combing this report and finding some errors that had been made and fixing those errors. Some things were just categorized in the wrong line items. So they found it and fixed it. So thank you to Reno and Susie.
You're welcome.
Does the Finance Committee, other members of the Finance Committee, have any questions on the November 2020 report?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this and move it on to the full board?
I will make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion made by Jane and seconded by Mark. All those in favor of approving the November 2020 report and moving it on to the full board, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Looks like it was unanimous. Now let's move on to the invoices. Are there any questions with any of the invoices?
Is Sharon Parker an author?
Yes. Is she one of our local authors? Yes, Jessica's saying yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's possible that it was from, because we couldn't do a proper authors fair this year. So what Johnson did was have like bags of books, and he solicited or bought books from local authors to give away to people, along with other like trash fees to promote authors' work.
And kind of right above that in the invoices, the Serve Pro of Vermilion County, the $1,500, is that, I see in the description that it's for COVID-19 treatment structure. That's just for extra cleaning above and beyond what's usually done.
We had them sanitize the meeting room after the elections. And clean the,
Okay,
I
thank
believe
you.
they cleaned the carpet too, which needed to be done.
Okay. Are we kind of keeping a running tally of COVID-19 related expenses? And, if we ever see any of this city money, or maybe if the state at some point,
We have,
finds a bag of money somewhere.
it's all coming out of office or janitorial supplies. I don't remember which one, but we can pull it up easily if we need to.
Okay, good. Any other questions about any of the invoices?
The last page, is it on a different type of format or something? It just looks different in the amounts.
It's the page that starts with check number 34719.
Yeah, those are December payments, Reno.
Yeah, December 8 to 10. It started with, it started with check numbers 34719. There's the first payment, our elevator maintenance. I'm sorry, the numbers, the figures in here, the decimals, I think it has 5 decimals, but we have not formatted this. We should have formatted this to 2 decimal points. It's weird looking, but it's not. There is, as I said, it has 5 decimal points. It should have only 2 decimal points, formatted to decimal points. Now, those are just, for the, let me mention about the gas and electricity. It was for the months of May, June, and August. And there's also a September billing forwarded to us by the city. So it's been 6 months that they have not forwarded to us. It was just forwarded this month that we were able to pay those billings that they submitted to us.
Yeah, I think we ran into this before. The city, I think in fact it was earlier this year, we paid a big lump to the city for
Yes.
gas and electricity, for utilities, because they had not billed us yet for those.
Yes, they billed us late this year. It's about 6 months billing.
Are there any other questions about the invoices? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve these and move them on to the full board?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Cindy. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Sounded like everybody said aye. Thank you. Let's move on to, is there any old business that the committee members need to discuss? I have none. So let's move on to new business. Jennifer included in our package the fact that we had applied for this Back to Books grant, but didn't get this one. But
Can't win them all. And if you read the letter, it says that they gave first priority to those that receive the minimum school district library grant of $750. So it really looked like they were giving it to schools first and then kind of going from there. And they had a lot of applicants for that one. So, we applied, we didn't get it. We're okay.
doesn't hurt to try.
Right.
Any other new business from the group? Hearing none, we will meet again on Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. And again, we will more than likely probably meet this way again, but we'll wait and see if anything happens. But I don't have great hopes that things are going to change. So we'll prepare to Zoom again in January. So if there's no other business, do we have a motion to adjourn the Finance Committee meeting?
I'll make that motion.
And a second? Seconded by, moved by Cindy, seconded by Jane. All those in favor of adjourning the Finance Committee meeting signify by saying aye. Aye. Looks like everybody else is in agreement. So Finance Committee meeting is adjourned.
Done early.
Now, by my clock, we have 4 minutes before the start of the board meeting. So
We are.
have a beverage, sit back, relax.
I like your background, Reno.
Thank you.
So Reno, do you set that up with do you have a green screen behind you, or how are you getting that background behind you?
Yeah, when at the left corner, there is this 3 dots. In there, you can find selections, options, wherein you can find a virtual background. There you can select an image that you can save for your background. There are a lot of images in here. You can also select a picture of any picture from your album or photos as your background. But this one, I selected this from, I selected this from the selections that they gave me on the site.
Well, you've certainly upped the ante for Zoom meetings.
Yeah, I have some meetings with a prayer group. That is why I have this background also. It's done, the Zoom meetings is done every night. That is Monday to Saturday. It will take us about 2 hours for the group. It's just a prayer meeting.
Right.
And we shared reflections on verses. We shared a lot discussions over the table. So much so that I have this so background I selected for myself. But I like it.
Looks great.
Thank you. Jim,
Yes.
on the 3 dots, there are selections, chat, meeting settings, minimize meeting. There is the selection virtual background. At the corner, right top corner, there are 3 dots that says more. That's the way, that's where I selected the virtual background. You will be able to select your background, whatever images that you want to be your background.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, I'll play around with that and try to amaze everyone next meeting.
Okay.
It's 4 o'clock, so why don't we call the meeting to order? Linda contacted Jennifer and myself on Sunday, and she's under the weather, so she asked me to run the meeting. I see our new member is here, and we do have a quorum. Are you there? All hooked up, Jeremy?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty good.
Very good. Well, why don't we start down the agenda with Chair's report. Jane?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. The minutes were mailed to you, and so I hope you've had a chance to review those in your electronic copy. Does anyone have any questions concerning the minutes of the November 17th meeting? Seeing, hearing no questions, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as emailed?
So moved.
Jim has made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second.
Okay,
Oh.
Cindy, I think first. So Cindy
Who's
made the
first?
second. And now I think we need a roll call for this.
Okay.
Yes?
Jane, okay. Jim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes?
Mary,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
and Mr. Suttersville. Bill.
He doesn't vote.
No, Bill doesn't
He
vote.
doesn't vote. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Okay, motion carried though unanimously. So the minutes are approved as emailed.
Well, thank you, Jane. Jim, treasurer's report, approval of invoice.
Thank you, Mark. The Treasury report is the report for November 2020. 7 months into the fiscal year. Things appear to be in. Let's see. Who wasn't in the final? Mary and Jeremy. There were some questions last month. There were some items that were mislabeled in the Treasury's report last month. If you recall, the unemployment insurance line item was way off the charts. The money that was there was not supposed to moved to the proper line item. So all of that has been fixed in this November 2020 report. So I can't remember if I know the Finance Committee was all a part of an email back in November that explained what happened and what changes were made. So all is good in that regard.
Great.
Are there any other questions about the November 2020 report? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this November 2020 report?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
Moved by Mary, seconded by Cindy. Again, one last chance. Any questions on November 2020? Hearing none, Rena will need a roll call on this, please.
Jane,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes?
Mary,
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Now let's move on to the invoices, which if you scroll up on the November 2020 report, the invoices are tacked on to the bottom of that PDF.
I
Any
know I've asked,
questions?
I have a
Go
question.
ahead.
I know I've
Sure.
asked this before and I'm trying to remember. When we see the same amount like multiple times, that's just one time, but multiple things within that amount. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I
that's a
think-
book. That's a
That's
book
correct.
order. That's
That's
one
correct.
invoice and multiple orders on the one. So yeah.
Okay, I was trying to I was looking at that because I know one of the pages was like, the whole page was one number, but it's all the different
Mhm.
things. Okay, thank you.
It references to one check number, like in page 1. It references 34674. That is the same check number. It's just like a distribution of the vendors and or the classification of these invoices as to if it's in an adult fiction, it's also classified like that. And also usually it's from Baker and Taylor
Mhm.
invoices, but they all the reference is only one check for them. We usually make 2 batches of those invoices. So in one batch, there are a lot of invoices on it. It's
Thank you.
yeah, it's just by batch. We do process payment by batch.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing to note, it was brought up in the Finance Committee meeting on the very last sheet. There was a payment to the city of Danville for like $18,500 that covered our utility bills for May, June, July, and August, and September of
Yes.
2020. So
5 months billing.
the city is catching up with its utility billing. So are there any questions about any of the other invoices? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Jane, seconded by Cindy. Any other questions? Hearing none, Reno, we need another roll call on these, please.
Yes. Jane,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
Mary,
Yes,
and Jeremy.
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you, Jim. We're ready now for Jennifer's directors and personnel report.
Okay, thank you. So I talk about what we're going to talk about later in building, so I'm not going to touch on that right now. Steve Johnson and I went to Urbana to see a schoolie that had been converted into an RV with thoughts on further conversion to a bookmobile. We ended up deciding not to go that route, but the person who we visited who had converted the schoolie has offered to assist us in future projects if we decide to pursue a bookmobile. So that was very nice of him. We have been closed since Friday, November 20th to the public, although, as you know, we are still hopping with curbside pickup and craft kits. Something I did not include in my report, which I will revise before I send out, is that we did have our 25th anniversary of the building in November. Hi, Melissa. Unfortunately, we did not get to do our big 90s fest that Jessica, Jackie, and I had talked about doing before COVID. And Bill had generously donated to that cause. What we did instead was we bought 25 tote bags, and Dawn and Sir James created bookmarks and whatnot to put in the tote bags. We also include some books from local authors, and we gave those out to the first 25 curbside pickups around our anniversary. So they got a surprise gift bag. It was unadvertised, but that's what we did. And hopefully once COVID is over, maybe we can do a retro bit of a celebration. Under personnel, Roger Weiss is no longer employed by the library as of last month, and we hope to fill this open position in January. He was one of our part-time custodians, and Darian and Steve are covering his task for right now. In other departments, the reference department is offering reference help through the chat service OLARC. As we discussed in finance, we've received an unexpected tax levy distribution in the amount of $22,424.58, which you will see reflected next month. Steve is starting to take down wallpaper and painting various areas of the building. Josh has been in sort of a holding pattern waiting for equipment to come in, but he has been continuing working on the memory lab. And he told me recently that everything just works really well to digitize his sample products. So that's really exciting. Under outreach, please read the paragraph Johnson wrote about assisting a teen who has not been able to go out and do very much for various health reasons, and was very excited about the December subscription box. We hosted Santa Saturday, and that on Zoom, that was a lot of fun. Closest Victoria is going to get to see Santa this year, so which is sad, but she kept saying ooh, ooh. It was really cute. As far as statistics go, we gave out 639 craft kits in the month of November, which is just amazing. So we will keep that up. Curbside pickups continue to rise. We did 366 of those. And that's really all I have. Jessica, do you have anything to add from your end?
Actually, I had a question. The 600 or so, is that just the children's craft kits, or is that also including the adult and teens?
That's including adult and teens.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
They're doing so much, and that's really most of my input for this month is because I do all the marketing, and so like they are constantly coming up with new ideas. Like Taylor thought of an idea doing surprise bags of books where you know the genre, but you don't know the titles. And so you get to check them out. And like I had a comment from someone on Facebook just today who was excited about getting a bag of mysteries, and a couple of the authors were brand new to her. And she's like, yay, this is a good introduction. So I'm just basically supporting the other departments and all of the things that they've been innovating with, you know, providing for our patrons while our doors are closed. And it's pretty awesome. I myself have been working from home for quite a while through my health issues and now my parents. So, but I'm hoping to pop in the library every now and then. I was there briefly on Monday. But yeah, so that's about all we got going on. I'm really excited that we've done some online programming like Celtic music early in November, and as Jennifer mentioned, Santa this past weekend.
So I always like to show our library swag as well. We got fleeces, if you can see, it has our logo right there. So I told Jessica I plan to live in this fleece while we are closed to the public this winter. It's really cozy and warm, and I kind of love it. So yeah, I'll be wearing this a lot.
I'm
Any
impressed with
questions
your
for
craft
Jennifer?
kit. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if there are any questions for Jennifer. What did you have to say, Cindy?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm impressed with your craft kits. I tried to do that at the Edison Library. I've only had 3 people take me.
Oh,
up.
wow.
Better marketing.
Thank you,
Jessica,
Cindy.
I might need you to come.
Since there's no questions, why don't we proceed to committee reports? Jim, Finance Committee, and Building.
Right, I'll just go from one to the other. First, the Finance Committee, really no action items. There is just one item of information. Jennifer shared with us a letter from the Secretary of State. She had applied for the fiscal year 21 Back to Books grant. We were denied. We didn't get that, but we tried. So like the little engine, we will try and try. Does anybody have any questions on the item in the area? Hearing none, our next meeting will be June the 19th, I believe.
Or January.
June,
January?
January.
January, sorry. I knew it was one of those J months. My screen went small on me and I couldn't, there we go. January 19th will be the next finance meeting. That's all I. You want me to move on to building committee?
Yes, please, Jim.
Okay. All right, the building committee has a number of items to address. The building committee meeting, the building committee met last week and approved these. Hopefully in your packets you received a very thorough and extensive relocation plan that Jennifer and the staff has put together. The building committee thought it looked like a good plan, and does anyone have any questions about any of the about the relocation plan at this point? We have a couple of action items coming up that speak to specific points of the relocation plan, but are there any overall questions or comments at this point?
You want to mention, Jim, how Jennifer approached the executive committee first about her plans?
Correct. Yeah. Jennifer first brought this to the executive committee's attention, and then also shared this plan with the foundation as well. And the foundation was supportive of the plan. I think all of us, as you look at the plan and as you kind of look at the matrix as it's kind of spelled out, there are going to be some cost issues with certain aspects of this plan, but as I understand it, we're going to kind of address those as they come up.
Jennifer, you gave us a great deal of information, but do you want to maybe in 2 or 3 minutes sort of give a rationale for your recommendation?
Sure. It really, it came down to space and layout of the building, more than anything. That, you know, for example, up here in administration, I have my lovely corner office, which I certainly appreciate, but I have so much room up here that I don't need. Meanwhile, our reference stat, not to mention a whole area for a secretary that we don't have, and our lobby area. And then in the meantime, our reference staff is crammed in to this little workroom with all the extra archives, Josh's technology graveyard, the office, the reference librarian office. And I feel, and in talking with Jessica, she also felt we are so disconnected from the rest of the building and we should be in the middle of everything. As far as downstairs goes, the children's programming, they have the most attendees of any of our programs. They are in this tiny, low ceiling children's program room with spillover into the public meeting room, which means if they have a program going on in the meeting room, we can't use it for anything else. Public can't use it. During the summer, especially on Saturdays, you basically can't get into that room at all because of summer reading program, which is a great problem to have. But in the meantime, we have a new room that was built specifically for teens with the promise that we would increase our attendance in our teen programming by 50%. We have actually decreased attendance by 43% because, surprise, surprise, teenagers don't want to be in the middle of a building with glass walls all around them where everybody can watch what they're doing. So this plan addresses all of those concerns. Another concern that came up in the back end of the renovation was that we took away any kind of adult seating on the first floor by moving the newspapers and the magazines upstairs. By working this plan, we moved some of that back downstairs. We set the outreach outreach room, which is very large, up into public space. We allow seniors to have seating down there with the large print books, and kind of their own private area. So it just, and then there's more to detail in the action items, but that was kind of the impetus, is like, we have all this room in different spaces that's not being used. Meanwhile, we don't have room where we really need it. And we just play musical chairs with the departments, and then we open things up.
It's in 3 phases. How long do you think a phase will take? Is there any planning for that, or to complete the whole job?
I told everybody I would look at least a year to get all of this done. It really depends on how long we stay close to the public and how quickly we can get things approved and get people in to do what we need them to do. The Nook is basically done at this point. The memory lab is close to it. We just need to put some finishing touches on it. And phase one is like halfway done at this point. Just doing a couple little tweaky things that we could do while we were closed that didn't have really a big financial impact or staff impact other than Steve painting.
I'm just blown away by the plan. I just think it's fascinating. Is this something you've been thinking about ever since you were assistant? Has this been brewing in your mind for years? I'm just curious about that.
I will say this, the problems of the building have been sticking with me over the last 3 years. However, I'm so sorry, Josh, I should bring this up again, but what I told all the departments was this was all Josh's fault, because he brought me down to where we were setting up the memory lab, and he said, we have a problem. We don't have enough room for the equipment. And so he and I talked some options, and then Taylor joined in. I grabbed Amber at that time, and then we looked at all the different options. And then Johnson walked upstairs and got involved in the conversation. And then we started saying, oh, but if we do this, we could do this. But if we do this, we could do this. And we started walking around the building. And in about an hour, we had almost all of this figured out. So really, so yes, the problems have been with me for a long time, but the solution actually came together very easily and quickly, which is probably a good sign, I hope.
And staff seems to be on board.
I was very happy and surprised, quite frankly, at how much they were on board. Children's department is thrilled to have the teen zone room. Teen zone staff are thrilled to get out of the room and into a bigger space. The reference staff has been very excited about all their changes and drawing me different pictures of desk models and whatnot. I actually ordered a sample of from a vendor of what I hope to order, which we'll talk about later. So yeah, I just, everybody, exec board, building committee, foundation, Peter is absolutely in love with this. Linda's been very excited. Just, yeah, everybody's been really supportive. So thank you.
That's great.
I like the look.
It's exciting.
I like the layout that appears to flow a lot better.
Thank you.
And the door, it looks like the biggest expense is the west side door.
Right.
And there might be grant money for that.
Yes, I am applying for a state grant for that whole project in that back area. So
looks great.
Thank you, Mary.
We're particularly interested in the phase 1 and the new door, because those are the proposed action items. So are there any concerns about phase 1 or the new west side entrance?
I guess the only concern would be is if we don't get the money for the grant, is paying for it.
Yes, the next step would be to discuss this with Peter and the foundation.
I think it's an exciting way for us to give the library a new look, repurpose it a little bit. and make the flow better. It seems like a great opportunity, and I hope those dollars will be there through the grant or the foundation.
Thank you.
And I think, kind of the silver lining of having the building closed to the public right now is that a lot of this moving and some of these, smaller aspects of the job can be done without a disruption to patrons and things like that. So,
Yeah.
We'll take the silver lining. There are a couple of actual action items that need board approval to move forward with some of this relocation plan. The first one deals with kind of the overall phase one plan, which includes the newspaper nook and the memory lab, purchase and installation of a new reference desk, and deconstruction of the current reference desk, and some installation of shelving on the second floor. Obviously, some of these items have price tags to them, but as I understand it, if we approve this phase one of relocation as various financial items come to our attention, those will be brought up through the finance committee, and the board will act on those at a subsequent meeting, correct, Jennifer?
Correct. Our biggest cost for phase one is a new reference desk. We cannot move the old one, unfortunately, and at 25 years old, it's probably time for a new desk anyway. The reference staff has drawn up what they would like to have and found the various pieces. What they like about this is the modular aspect of it. So if we ever wish to move this again, it's not bolted down to the floor and we can move it. And like I said, the sample here is the color. It's not an exact match for what we have, but it's pretty darn close. We're happy with it. Price tag on it, just without considering shipping, handling, delivery, is $7,865. We have around that much left from the original renovation grant from the foundation. So my thought is to use that on the desk with the hopes that it could get delivered to us before we open up to the public, and Steve can work on that part of the project. And then anything above that, I can put before the finance committee, or we can cover through the line item for building maintenance, I believe. So I will leave that up to you. If you would rather I get a final price tag, get all the figures put together, and then present it in January, I can do that.
I think that would be a good way to proceed. I mean, I think once you get all the, all the numbers put together, let's take another look at it at that point.
Okay.
But for the time being, do we still want to act on this, just general overall action item of approving the whole concept of this phase one relocation plan? That's what this first action item is. And if there aren't any other questions, we need a motion to approve it.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
This is Melissa.
Oh, Melissa can second.
Okay, it was a motion was made by Cindy. It was seconded by Melissa. Any other questions about this first action item on the phase one relocation plan?
How old is the library? When was the last time renovations were made?
The library was built in 95, and we had a renovation 2018, 2019.
Change is good.
It was, thank you.
It is. You gotta update. You gotta make sure your staff feel comfortable, so that they can continue to serve the community. Hey, completely for it.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Any other questions? Do we know, Jennifer, does this require a roll call? There really isn't any specific money being moved. Can we
I
just do
believe everything over Zoom has to have a roll call.
It does.
oh,
Okay.
oh yeah, the Zoom aspect of it.
Jane,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes,
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
and Melissa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jim and Jennifer. You know, a building is 25 years old and we need to move with the times, and it's an exciting idea. There's quite a bit of old business that Jennifer has. Do you want to start going through that, Jennifer?
Oh, real quick, we do need to approve the action item or discuss the action item for the west side entrance.
You know, you're absolutely right. I forgot that.
I'm sorry.
Jim, it's back to you.
okay. We do have a building committee did approve this last week. This second action item specifically deals with the west side entrance, and also mentions the Live and Learn construction mini grant that the library is applying for. Jennifer, do you have any other information you want to share at this point about the west side entrance?
Really, it's replacing the doors, which honestly could use replacing even if we didn't turn this into a public entrance. Adding that security gate and then taking out the wall. The building committee got a quick tour and saw which wall I want to take out. It would just add to the flow back there. So we have carpet that we can put down, Steve tells me. So really, I gave you all the attachments for everything that I will be putting into the grant. This was a grant that Teresa applied for during the last renovation and for whatever reason didn't receive it. So hopefully we will be in their favor this time.
Any other questions about the second action item?
Does our approval of this action item without having dollars yet, what does that mean to the whole plan?
Basically, I'm just wanting board support to apply for the grant, and then any other costs, if we don't get it, will come through board at that time. Yeah.
Good.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve this action item?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Jane. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jeremy. Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none. Reno, let's do a roll call on this, please.
Okay. Jane,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
and Melissa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There is one other item of information from the building committee. This involves the former Turk furniture building in downtown Danville. Jennifer and Peter Blackman of the foundation had an opportunity to tour this building, and the foundation is considering purchasing this building. Jennifer, is there more you want to tell us about this at this point?
They are exploring use of it to start out with as a used bookstore. Obviously not the entire 60,000 square feet of a bookstore, but a portion of the building. And they are in the foundation is in their planning stages at this point, looking at different options on how to acquire the building and feasibility studies on future use.
So I'm sure that you and Peter will keep us informed as that issue moves on. So
Yes.
it would be helpful if that comes about. It would certainly free up some storage space at our main building for the book sale books. So
Among other things, yep.
among other things. So hopefully that comes to a happy conclusion. Our next building committee meeting will be Tuesday, February the 9th. That's all I have.
Thanks, Jim. Jennifer, are we supposed to keep this information about the foundation's interest in that building close to the vest during this time, or is it open information?
As close to the vest as we can during an Open Meetings Act public meeting that is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, now we're ready for old business, Jennifer.
Actually, can we jump back to policy committee real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Cindy,
Am
we don't have any,
Oh,
we don't have any items, but
we didn't meet this month. We will be meeting next month before the board meeting, January 12th at 4:15.
and I'm putting together quite a packet of information for you, and I hope to have it sent out to the policy committee by the end of the week, so you have some extra time to look at it.
Okay, I figured there'd be a lot.
Yeah, plus holidays. Okay, now old business. If you're ready, Mark.
We're ready.
Okay. So looking over chapters 5 and 6 of the standards for Illinois Public Libraries for the per capita grant. These two chapters covered building infrastructure and maintenance and safety. I sat down with Steve and we reviewed both of these chapters. For the most part, we were able to say that we do most of this. Steve was not aware of an inventory of all facility systems, or that there were checklists written down. He had it all up here. So that will be something we make sure that we capture on paper before he retires. We were also not aware of a capital asset plan. This plan can be written by the library administrator or by an outside professional. A capital asset plan will project facility funding needs over a 10, 15, and 20-year period. And then 2 bullet points on reviewing it annually and every 3 to 5 years with the board. So unless anybody else has knowledge of such a thing, this would be something we will have to look into addressing. Okay. Appendix K was our facility management checklist. I included my notes on here according to Steve, what was not applicable to us or how often we actually cover these items. As far as the chapter on safety, right now, the biggest thing that we are dinged on in safety is that we have not had a tornado or fire drill since 2018, probably. So that is something that we need to address. I also included the results of the staff safety survey that we did in October. Again, I think the answers were pretty good. Overall, a couple of concerns. I included the comments. They also mentioned the drills, a couple requests for panic buttons. So, and having trainings like actual training for an active shooter, other than just watching a video. And I suppose I could ask one of my actor friends to dress up in all black and come in and be an active shooter while we're closed to the public, but that sounds like a recipe for disaster to me. So perhaps not. Otherwise, the video that we show, I think is very compelling video. It certainly was scarier than most movies I've seen because of the realism involved in the training and going over all of that. So that's it for Capita grant. Next month, we are covering chapters on collection management, system member responsibilities, and public services reference and readers advisory services. We just did that chapter maybe 2 years ago, which is why I combined it with the other two. It should be another quick review next month.
Jennifer, can you get the police to come in and do an active shooter drill? I mean, that's what we did when I was in school.
Okay.
I don't know.
I've done that. I remember within the last few years, we had a police officer who came in and had each of the departments kind of have a plan of what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to lock the doors? Where are you going to hide? And he wandered through and listened to what we had. And I think in one of our departments, we decided we'd shove the shelves over on someone if they tried to come through that door.
Okay. I do not recall that. That must have been before.
It might have been before you came here.
I know we walked around and discussed how we would hide, what we would do at a staff day while I was here. But yeah, good idea. I can talk to the police department about doing something like that.
Yeah, I think they are Alice trained. So I think they have the train the trainer or just come in and do the training for Alice. So I think that would probably be good.
Okay, thank you.
New business, you have one item, Jennifer?
Yeah, this is our annual review of library closings and early closings for calendar year 2021. It's all the standard days that we are usually closed or closed early. Just need the overall approval on the dates.
So are you asking for a motion?
Yes, please.
These look pretty standard. Do we have a motion to approve this request?
I'll make a motion. It's Melissa.
I'll second.
A motion is seconding for the discussion. Reno, would you please take the vote?
Yes. Jane,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
and Melissa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else for us to cover, Jennifer?
No.
Anything for the board that we want to discuss before we adjourn? Well, hearing none, I want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday. And thank you, Jennifer, for your new ideas. By the way, she presented at Rotary a couple Mondays ago and really impressed the group there with what the library is doing now and plans for the future. I thought it was a very good presentation.
Thank you.
Hearing no questions, do we have a motion to adjourn our December 16th meeting?
So moved.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Everybody jumped for that one.
do we have a second?
Whoever didn't. do the
First, I'll be the second.
Okay, Reno, I guess we need a vote for this too. Going to adjourn.
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
and Melissa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending and have a good holiday.
Happy
Good
holidays.
holiday, everyone.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Take
Bye.
care, guys.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.